have Gabe Kunda here, ladies and gentlemen, who has an incredible tech background here, literally and figuratively. I mean, look at what's behind him there.
Yeah, it's a little messy right now, but my amazing contact keyboard that I use for arranging and stuff like that, and just getting out ideas. I gotta have a keyboard nearby.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing about the keyboard. You have basically every instrument available to you with a keyboard, right?
Exactly.
Would you say?
That's right. That's right.
So, how does that process work for you? You're in the studio, you're hanging out, and then you have an idea, and then you just start
Yeah.
fiddling around.
Oh yeah. It'll hit me. I'm really bad about this. My wife and I will be like at dinner or in the kitchen talking or something, and like a musical idea will literally hit me in like mid conversation, and I'll stop the conversation. I don't do that so much anymore because she's like, stop. But I would stop in the middle of the conversation, run to the studio, try to at least figure out what I'm hearing in my mind and leave it there, kind of memorialize it in my logic session, and then come back to it later and figure out what I was thinking.
It's hard because you don't know what inspiration is going to strike,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
I loved when I would hear about Prince, that he built his own studio, lived literally in the studio. I mean, Paisley Park was his home, and he would just work whenever he felt like it, all the time, because he owned everything. And it was such a good studio. Other bands, world class bands, were booking time at it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think yeah, I try not to. I try not to force things. I'm kind of in the mind of like, when it happens, it happens. Because the moment I'm just like, okay, today I'm going to write a vocal arrangement, I just get stuck in like trying to make it like this and that, and the third, and what I got to do this, and what I got to map out this. And so like I've grown to be a little bit more like, maybe something like it happens a lot. Like my wife, when she talks, sometimes she'll make a melodic sentence, and I'm like, ooh, I like what you just did. You have no clue what you just did, but I like it. And I'll run over and try to reharmonize it and figure. And it's so that's, just allowing life to inspire, I think is really helpful. Well, it helps that I'm not doing it I'm not like contracted to like arrange for groups. Like I mostly do it for myself and my own group. So there's no
right.
like pressure to just not that pressure. I would imagine if I was being hired, I'd have really no choice but to sit down and create something.
Right.
Put out. But
Now, what does your wife do again? I think you had told me this.
yeah, she's an opera singer. So
Okay.
she has her master's degree in vocal performance, and so she's gonna be out in Italy and Germany for the next 3 months this summer, just doing that.
Oh, nice. You know
Yeah.
who you should talk to? His name is Ragtag. That's his gamer handle. He's a Scottish gamer. He plays a lot of Apex. It's not the only thing he plays, but he plays a lot of Apex. He's an opera singer. He used to tour
Really?
as an opera singer. And
What?
he's very, very Scottish, right? He's a very thick accent, but he's a lovely bloke. He's very nice. And he calls himself Gutter Tier Gaming. Like gutter tier, he says he's not very good. He's much, much better than me. He's actually a good player.
Ragtag?
Ragtag, that's right. And it's on the
Okay.
timeline there. I think it's Raggtagg. Yeah, he's an opera
Yeah.
singer. I interviewed him. He's actually our interviewer is on my channel. So you
Okay,
can go
okay.
back and see that. And he talked about touring as an opera singer. Then he became a fireman. Yeah,
Talk about many lives. Wow.
right. And then he had neurological damage from firefighting and he had to retire. And he just games all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he's had quite an interesting life, but you guys would get on like a house on fire.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
my kind of get down.
yeah, I would highly
see.
recommend it, and I'm sure he'd love to have Newcastle on his stream anyway.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I'm so down. That's let me see if I can. After this, I'll try to find them because that would
Yeah.
be a dope connection there. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And
Korea
this,
does.
yeah, this, by the way, for my viewers who know me from my old stream, this is how my interviews go. It's not really an interview. It's like you walked in on two guys shooting the breeze. Because
Yeah.
we go all over the place. And oh, by the way, welcome to Coffee and Donuts. I got my coffee, and I got my donuts. And today,
Got my water.
what are the selections? Well, we got the jelly filled. You got to have the jelly filled. And this time,
Wow.
I went with the chocolate cake.
See,
right?
oh man, the jelly fill. The jelly fill to me is a distraction from what I'm trying to get to. I have a hard time with that like the, just anything filled. Give me the donut is what I'm here for.
But you're also wearing a white T-shirt. A jelly-filled donut's not a good idea.
No, 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 no.
That's like eating ribs.
Be...
It's not gonna go well for the clothes.
Speaking
You'll
of
enjoy
ribs,
it,
I'm like
but...
making some right now. That's funny.
What, donuts or ribs or both?
Ribs.
I think both would be good.
At the same time.
Yeah, it's cheat day for me, so I can have whatever I want. But you know.
Same.
Yeah, we talked about that. You work out 5 days a week. That's right. We went over this while we were gaming on stream. You work out 5 days a week, and you're what, 27-ish?
28.
28? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good habit to already be in. That's a good habit, right? Because I've always worked out, but I didn't always work out well. I was the guy I was just doing free weights, no cardio. That's your standard 20-something workout. Free weights, no cardio, just going for bulk.
Yes, it is.
Just going for bulk. The girls like bulk. Like, girls don't care about bulk. You don't know what you're talking about.
All top heavy.
Yeah. Skip leg day. There's no leg day. Yeah.
No, man. It used to be it used to be 4 days a week, and then these last couple months I just added a Wednesday back in there, so I'm making it 5. But
Wednesday.
The reason why I got into the whole thing, because I graduated college in 2017, and I was like, I need something to kind of some structure still, because obviously school and college, they kind of give you that structure a little bit,
right?
And so I said I still needed something like that, as something that I can grow, something that just makes me feel good about in terms of goals and stuff like that. And so I started working out, and I was like, actually, I like this. But the issue I was having was that I would work out later in the evening. I'll do this crazy great workout, and then afterwards I'd be super hungry. I'm like, man, I'm starving. And then I'd stop by a Raising Cane's or a McDonald's or whatever, Jack in the Box, and like go in on a, and mind you, it's like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then do it again the next day. I was like, this is great, right? And then I realized that's not how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. Everybody finds out what their best time to work out is. Everybody finds out what their best exercises are. By the way, there's suddenly a lot of light on my face because I got off the live streaming. Watch, when I go to the live streaming, the screen gets dark. Like, that's the chat, right? So that's the chat. And then when I go to my Streamily page to make sure, I've got like 3 orders to sign. It won't take long. I'll do that in a little bit. And it all of a sudden, it's like I've opened the Ark of the Covenant. But good things will happen. I'll sign stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. You realize, all right, I realize I'm somebody who probably should work out more in the morning. And the reason is your testosterone's higher in the morning. You just, I don't know, for some reason I get after it better in the morning. And I feel great the rest of the day because I got my workout done. If I work out at night, I can do it. But then I'm a little antsy sometimes. It's like, your system takes a while to sort of calm back down.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's I'm realizing I'm not a morning person, but it's better for me to do, especially the time zone I'm in as well. LA is still asleep, so I'm not getting work out of there.
Right.
And then New York, an hour ahead, but still it's, I do it early, and I get up at 6:30. So
you get up at 6:30?
Yeah.
I got news for you. You're a morning person. Okay. When I talk about working out in the morning, I'm talking about 11 a.m. I'm working out. All right. So I'm basically a Spaniard. I'm a redheaded, freckly Spaniard.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's like morning, 11:40 a.m. Yeah. Hey, I worked out in the morning.
I guess I could too. I just feel like the moment I think 11 is 9 o'clock. So yeah, at that point is when things start rolling in, and I find myself looking at my emails a lot more during my workout, and that throws me off because then there are people requesting stuff, and as I'm lifting, I'm like, oh, okay. Agents just asked me to do this read. When can I do that? When I do that, and then New York, and I just like, I would love to do it later in the day because I would get more rest, but golly, it's just. It can be a distraction in the morning when I'm working out.
As long as you get it in, as long as you get the work in,
Yeah.
then that's really what counts. You know, you don't make perfect the enemy of the good. And I'm with you. Technically, I do 5 days a week, but Wednesday is really just sort of cardio. And I figured for
Yeah.
cardio, you know
Same.
what? If I walk
Yeah.
my neighborhood briskly, that's cardio.
Same. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So I do. I used to do just kind of like split up like arms like on Monday, chest on Tuesday. But now I'm trying to work out the upper lower situation. So I'll do upper on Monday, lower on Tuesday, and then Wednesday is literally just cardio, and Thursday upper, Friday lower.
Yeah,
And so I'll do that, and then in the afternoon I'll take my dog out for a walk. It's about 40 minutes of a
right.
full walk, and that keeps me. Oh, the sun rays, man. It does something.
All right. So how crazy has it been for you as Newcastle? Let's bounce around like I like to do.
Yeah, no, it's been really crazy. My social media is constantly in a state of shambalaya, and so I get in and I try to interact and stuff, but it's so much sometimes. But I've been blown away by the response of everything and the love. I even when they prepared me for the announcement and all that stuff, and just kind of like, hey, you're gonna get some a bit of everything, and some love. I was like, okay, it's gonna do its thing because we work on stuff all the time, and I think we do them, we forget them, they come out, you're like, oh, that thing, and then it was a day, a couple days, and then it's gone. Whereas this is more so almost like a TV show of some sort. You got a whole cast and everything, and things are still growing and evolving and stuff. And so I've never been a part of something like that. That huge. And so it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Life has been crazy, and I've got people recognizing me and stuff. Like, oh my
Really?
god, it happened a couple of times at the gym, and
Really?
somebody just came up to me and was like, dude, congratulations, I played Newcastle and this and that. I'm like, wait
Wait.
a minute, like I got into this profession, the thing I loved about it was the fact that it's like, yeah, like I get to do what I do and no one knows what I look like. I can
Right.
still enjoy the anonymity a little bit of, like I don't mind it. It's just interesting, you get into it and all of a sudden now the light's on you a little bit. And so anyway, it's been crazy.
And then you're in the gym working out. Now you know the guy is watching you. So you put an
know.
extra plate on and you think this is probably going to be a dumb idea. But Newcastle has to be able to throw up the weight. Right?
And I could not compare at all. Newcastle was like twice my size. Yeah, no, wouldn't happen. But yeah, no, it's funny now because we see each other, and he's kind of like every time I walk in, he's like, and I was just kind of like, yeah, it's good to see you, or whatever.
Well, it's funny because that was not the beginning of Apex. Apex did very well from the beginning, but it's taken 3 years for it to kind of seep into the subconscious of the gaming world. Now it's not this upstart game anymore.
Right.
It is its own universe, and now there are gamers who only stream Apex play. And that's always been, but now there are more of them. There are Apex tournaments. There's a whole circuit. There's a series of tournaments, all of that. And so, in the beginning, like I was one of the original 6 or 8, and we were just sort of, we were amused at how much people were taking to the game. But it's a different experience now for somebody stepping into it. So I did not get recognized for a while. And usually it was because I would wear, I have my Apex hoodie. I would wear that and somebody says, oh, you play Apex. And I would usually just say, yeah, who's your main? And they would tell me who they mained, and I wouldn't mention anything. I would say, oh, I like Pathfinder, and that would be the end of it. I wouldn't say I'm Pathfinder because nobody's going to think, yeah, that sounds like the voice of Pathfinder. Nobody makes that connection because you're going to think, what are the odds? But in your case, you've already done, I guess, enough visual promotion for it. So now people know what you look like. And I don't think it would have been from my stream.
No. No? What?
I don't think enough people watched it for,
No, now it's definitely it's cool. I everything has been the only thing that I was talking to Manny and and some of the folks, I was like, I just want to figure out how to fix servers. I think that's the biggest thing right now that I want to work on. If there's anything else in this next 3 months of season 13, is how to fix those darn servers. Once I get that, I'm good. I'm good because the requests are coming in, buddy. I mean, they're just like, I don't know what I did to deserve it, but they're coming in.
So, what kind of requests?
Fix the servers.
That's the only. That's it.
Fix the servers.
That's all people are saying to you. Fix the servers.
I mean, it's all the request box entails. But people are definitely showing love and everything like that, and making connections to other work that I've done for sure. That outweighs it. But there are definitely a lot of the maintenance folks.
Yeah, and that's also kind of new. I don't know if anyone has ever come at me for a problem with the game, which is weird because I'm the robot. If there's anyone like me and Johnny should be the ones getting the most grief. It's like, you play the hacker guy. You play a robot. Don't robots know all tech? You would think. No, go for the dad. Go for the dad who sneaks his way into the games. You think he's going to fix the servers? Yeah, why,
Oh man, I don't know.
How is it I have not been how is I have not been the grief magnet for that? I don't know. I really don't.
It's fine. I get people, part of me is like, they just figured, you work for them, so you have some sort of connection, you can make things happen, and it's not necessarily how it works. So
no. For the record, folks, don't ask Gabe to fix the servers. He can't. If he could, he would. Right, but how weird would that be that they finally cast an actor that is able to solve their server problem because all of us were cast for our ability to perhaps try and tackle the server problem, and we didn't, but let's keep him on. Okay, Edgerly couldn't fix the servers. Johnny couldn't fix it. Well, we'll keep him on. They're nice people. But Gabe, this guy, when we read him, did you ask him about servers? No, we're just hoping beyond hope that he just magically knows how to fix the servers. Yeah. See how silly that sounds? Yeah.
Hoping their way into, it's...
Well, look, there are some that get even more grief. I mean, poor Allegra. She's not feeling sorry for herself, but Allegra plays Bloodhound, who is non-binary, and there are some people that still can't get that concept into their head. And so they're trying to say, is Bloodhound a boy or a girl? It's like, well, it doesn't matter because they identify as non-binary. So it doesn't matter what sex they're assigned at birth. It's just they are non-binary, and you should just sort of leave it at that because that's what the game intends. No! I need an answer. And it's like, well, you're not going to get one, are you? So,
Especially not pouting like that. No, you're just not.
Yeah, I know. It's like, actually, when you demand things, it's like, all right, fine. Could you fix the servers then, please, Bloodhound?
Right. Yeah. No, I think, and I've had those things too, like demands of, I had it happen in a game when I was playing, because I play it. And
are you playing with randos? Are you still making that mistake?
It hasn't been that bad, Chris. I think there's been one, like this one guy I'm talking about. I played and he recognized my name and everything and my voice because I was saying like, hey, it's over there or whatever, and was like, say a line, say it. I'm like, what do you mean? Say it. It's like, I don't believe it. I will leave this game right now if you don't say a line. I'm like, what kind of, like, what? So there's that. And I just entertain.
Hey, you have my permission in that moment to only do Pathfinder lines. Just do, but as Newcastle.
Okay.
Yeah. High five, friend. Just troll him for that.
I'm gonna do that.
Just
do
Pathfinder stuff. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Yes, 99% of the people you will randomly squad up with are gonna be great. Yeah. If they even talk to you, if they talk to you at all, because we talked about this on the gaming stream. They're into the game and they're pinging stuff, but some of them really do talk, and some of them are very cool and they're very helpful. Yeah. But Stephen Fry once said this about Twitter. And that's when he got off Twitter. And he came back to Twitter. But he said, Twitter is a turd in the swimming pool. And it's in the corner of the swimming pool, and people say, why don't you go for a swim? Well, there's a turd there. Well, it's only in the corner. Like, you don't understand. The fact that it's there taints the entire swimming pool, so I don't care where it is. I'm not getting in the pool as long as there's a turd over there in the shallow end next to the railing.
Doing it. Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good point.
So yeah, don't squat up with the turd in the swimming pool is what. If you take away anything from this stream, ladies and gentlemen,
Don't
take away. Eat ribs and donuts if you're wearing a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, that's
at the same time.
at the. You know what? Somebody's going to come up with that. By the way, we've come up with a sandwich that's ribs and a donut. It's like, really?
The ribbed donut. Yeah, I love it.
Ribbed. The McRonut coming back to McDonald's this fall. While we're here, if you have questions for Gabe, because we're still going to talk a bit, but I do have 3 Streamly items to sign. So I'm going to sign them here because it's a live Streamly signing. But, you know, I have the same stuff I've had for months. And so it's the same 2 prints. And that's why, you know, 3 people said, oh, I don't have those yet. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to my Streamly shop, do you have a Streamly shop yet?
Gabe? I do actually, yeah.
Okay.
Streamly,
go to Gabe's too.
Yeah, it's just Streamly / Gabe Kunda.
Yeah, Gabe Kunda. You got to shop. See, mine's open 24/7. I just thought, I'm not going to do events. I'm just going to leave it open all the time. I have buttons where you can send in an item to get it signed. So a lot of people tell me, I'd rather just have you sign something for me that I already own. It's like, okay, how are we going to do that? And we'd have to connect through the post office, blah, blah, da, 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 da. Now, Streamly just sort of created a button where you could do that.
I'm going to write that down.
So if you want to, get that up in your Streamly store. So if any of you guys have something you want me to sign, you can go to Streamly, you can go to my store, and you can click on that button. And whether it's a flat item or it's, you know, something like maybe it's an object. So a flat item would be your own print, or an object would be, I got this miniature, I want you to sign it, or whatever it is. You know, I got a prosthetic arm. Could you sign that for me? It's like, absolutely. So, you know, there's a way you can send that in. But in the meantime, someone here, this is to Still Disturbing. Well, that's...
Let me see.
That's quite a gamer handle, Still Disturbing. I look forward to signing something for you when you are no longer disturbing, but I'll be happy to sign it for you right now too. As Still Disturbing.
Pathfinder cookbook. That sounds good.
Yeah, a cookbook. There should be an Apex Legends cookbook.
I think so.
I think so. I think Newcastle would probably have some good recipes in there. He's a dad, right?
Man. Yeah.
Is he a single dad?
No, he's got a family.
Okay, he's got a whole family. All right.
Got a whole family. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
But he's that dad, you know, that probably he looks like he likes to eat, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's, you know, over the years, he's definitely put back some, you know.
He's got the dad bod, right?
Definitely got the love handles going.
Yeah.
And what can you do? I mean, you got, and then, you know, married as well, so
right.
She keeps him fed. She keeps him fed.
Yep, exactly. All right, Still Disturbing. You want number 3 on the back. I'm going to write number 3 on the back.
What's disturbing about that?
Nothing. I think that's Streamily saying write number 3 on the back. Okay, so this is to Still Disturbing. If you could write a catchphrase or anything you feel like, thank you. Let's write a Newcastle catchphrase on there just to piss off Still Disturbing. I wouldn't do that, Still Disturbing. I would not do that. I'm going to write... Yeah. I'm going to write, because it's a 5x7, and I don't want to cover this thing with handwriting, I'm going to write a high 5 on there for you, because catchphrases, I'd have to, like, miniature print that to fit on a 5x7. There you go, Still Disturbing. Okay, and thank you. So, what do you have in your store, by the way, Gabe?
What do I have in my store? I'm going to look at it right now.
All right. And then this one's going to go to Skylar. And then we'll get back into, because I've got one more after this, and then we'll get into what else Gabe has been up to. Gabe, by the way, is a singer, a really, really talented singer who loves, let's see, jazz chords.
Yeah.
And voiceover, correct?
Yeah, I sing in a band, in a vocal group called King's Return.
King's
And
Return.
that's we got a whole situation going. Working on an album right now, and it's been
Nice.
really a huge endeavor. But we've been together for a little bit. We've got some viral videos going on the internet and stuff.
You got social media and all that? I'm sure you
Yeah,
do.
absolutely.
Okay. So King's Return at all your finer social media outlets.
Yes, yes, and yeah, we're touring and doing some stuff. I say touring, but it's hold on, let me 1 second. Let me.
Sure. I'll do this in the meantime. Skylar, getting the Von Holda. This is the 8x10 Pathfinder. I really like this one too. I like all of them. So Skylar, no special instructions. And when there's no special instructions, I write to Skylar, and then I just sign it and put Pathfinder there. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do it for the Von Holda because it's brighter down here. I'm going to do it down here. And there you are. Thank you, Skylar. And then I have one more to do.
Thank you for putting the streaming thing in there. Yeah, so I've got
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hit his store.
All kind of products. The Get Behind Me, You're Untouchable. Where Newcastle's fighting prowlers. He's like standing on one and knocking one back with his shield and about to knock him. I love that.
These are prints?
Yeah, prints.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get more Pathfinder prints.
We gotta do a collab on that. And then Four Harris Valley print. I've got him just kind of waiting in the launch ship. And then the one with Horizon in Newcastle. I'm doing the kind of duo signing with Elle Newlands, who's amazing. And a bunch of KO stuff for Valorant too, if you guys are Valorant fans, and also the anime My Hero. Let's see, One Piece, Code Geass. Some stuff on there.
So that's quite a bit.
Happy. Yeah.
Okay. So this is for Carmina. Hey, for the opera singer, Carmina Burana.
Yeah.
We'll have to get into that too. You must have a deep appreciation for opera at this point because your wife has to practice. It's like, I have this recital coming up. I have to make sure I nail this. I'm getting
absolutely.
judged on this particular aria here. And then she probably goes off into her space. And it doesn't matter where you go. Could be anywhere down the block. She's an opera singer. Everybody hears it.
Yeah, up 100%. And by space, you mean like right next door to my studio. So, and there's been times where I've walked down, it's like, hey babe, would you mind bringing it down? What does bringing it down to mean for an opera singer? Like what? No. It's like it's all or nothing, really.
There's no quiet opera singer. There's no sotto voce, I guess, in opera.
Right. Yeah. No. Not at. I mean. No. So yeah, I also have a deep appreciation for it because I had to study it when I went to DBU or Dallas Baptist University. I had my undergrad in music education, and so that the classical route, opera has been a part of that background, and you have to just kind of know the ins and outs of music theory. And I gave a recital and all that stuff, and all of that was classically kind of trained.
Nice.
So,
all right, let's knock this last one out. Carmina.
yeah.
It's number one.
It's number one.
For a quote, can you please write, I work hard for the money. Thank you so much. Pathfinder is such an adorable and wholesome character. Yes, he is. And so are you, Carmina. Thank you. I'm going to write, I work hard for the money, which, Gabe, you may or may not know, is a running joke the writers have. They were putting song lyrics into Pathfinder's voice lines. So, I work hard for the money is a Donna Summer song. She works hard for the money. He did a Kool and the Gang one. Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
What?
Celebration. Oh, yeah. We have song lyrics. I think they snuck a Billy Joel one in there. Yeah.
Oh, man, those writers. Oh.
Yes. They have fun over at the Apex.
I love it. Wow.
This is to Carmina. Okay. There you are, Carmina. Thank you, Carmina. Thank you, Still Disturbing. And thank you. Okay, I finished my. And thank you, Skylar. So, done with that. And we just got a jelly donut left here. One of the reasons why I got into streaming is because I'm very happy with my voice acting career, but I don't work every day. And very few of us do. There are some that are really busy all the time. But for the most part, I don't like waiting around for things to happen. I thought, well, let me stream. Let me see how I can monetize the stream. One of the ways I've noticed people love to spend money on the stream is to have you do a voice line from the game. Here we have. Let's take a look here. We have some lovely people. Some of them pay not because they can't wait to hear the line. They appreciate it, but some of them they just want to be supportive, which I appreciate. Oh, wow. Yeah. So here's one. Let's see. That's from Nira, or it might just be Nira.
Let me see. Yeah, Nira.
Heck, the soul of Newcastle does a cappella, and here I thought I liked the character a lot already. Well, you like them even more than you thought. Is that 10 euros? They
10
pledged?
euros. Wow, thank you.
Wow. And then Adrian Martinez, let's get this bread. Gabe, are you a gamer?
Am I a gamer? Yeah, I'm a gamer. Well, I say game. I play Valorant. I play Apex. Obviously, I play Call of Duty. Yeah, definitely. I am a gamer. I think I would say.
Yeah. Well, cool. Then
so anytime you want to check me out, definitely on the Twitch stuff. I stream every Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday nights.
Tuesday and Wednesday on the Twitch. All right, you got to check him out because I don't stream anymore. Like I said, I was doing it 4 days a week and it was a grind. And I realized, this is taking up too much of my time. So I have pivoted to, well, first of all of last year was we're moving from a condo to an Airbnb to a rental to a house that we bought, and then we're going to remodel it. That was January through December of last year. So even if I had wanted to stream, it would have been very challenging. But
you said January of last year?
January of 2021, in July of 2020. And thank you, by the way, Adrian and Nirha. If you guys want voice lines from me, I'm more than happy to do it. I certainly don't want Gabe to have to do voice lines for money that you guys are giving me. So,
you're fine. You're fine. I'm cool with doing it. Tell me we're on your stream. I'm
probably nice. Thank you, Adrian Martinez. I'm just going to read what you wrote. Let's get this bread.
I love it.
That should be a.
I love it.
The thing I love about Pathfinder is nothing he says has to make sense. It's how he says it.
How he says it.
Like, I like to play softball, and when we finish our at bat and we're trotting back out to the field, and I'm an outfielder, and I always love to say, "Time to make the donuts." Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's from a Dunkin' Donuts commercial from like the 80s where a guy says, "Time to make the donuts." It means he's got to get up and go to work. Like, I got to get out here and do this work. I can't let people get, base hits on me. I can't let anyone hit over me. Time to make the donuts. So that's Pathfinder in the game. Let's get this bread. He thinks I
love it.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think somebody. You were in fact present for on-set performance capture sessions for cinematic trailers. If so, did you in fact knock a man out with?
Did you do performance capture for Newcastle?
I only did face capture, but it wasn't even. It wasn't. Like none of the dots or whatever. They kind of use this iPad and kind of a VR capability where it just kind of analyzed my face and was like moving around with me.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool. And so during the entire trailer, that's what we used. It was just I had to make sure I was kind of set dead center, and just kind of everything I was doing was supposed to be in a specific, just kind of center focused, and then. Yeah, I didn't have to do any like body motion capture. It probably wouldn't have worked with my size, but like, I didn't have to do any of that. Well, I wish I did, because I do. Looks like performance capture looks fun. Hold on, wait, let me not say that out loud, because then my agent's like, we're gonna put him in everything.
Wait, what did you not want to say out loud? I'd like you to repeat it. What did you?
Performing opera?
Oh.
No. So yeah, no, I didn't have to hit anybody with a trash can. No.
Not during the shoot. Later on, there was a guy who got a little, chippy with him, and trash can lid happened to be around, and Gabe had to set him straight. But that's
the metal one, that the '90s looking one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Oscar the Grouch one. It's like, yes. I don't even know if they make those anymore. Does anyone live in a place where they have those? Because that.
Hilarious.
You realize the number of people that have been woken up by metal trash cans over the years, and they probably said, "Oh, why don't we just make these out of plastic?" Yeah.
McCream asked, "Can you?" You're very talented, by the way, McCream.
Oh, McCream, by the way, that was an amazing. I mean, McCream answered a challenge I threw out once, where I said, I would love to see the opening of, I don't know if you've seen the show Peacemaker.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's with John Cena, and it's basically a
Oh wait, yes. I've seen an episode. Yep.
yeah, basically it's a spin-off from Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
And the show is hysterical. I mean, it is graphic and graphically comedic, but it is hysterical. And the opening sequence is all of them dancing to a hair metal song, which you would think was created for the show. No, that's like a Scandinavian metal band from like 15 years ago. That song has existed for years.
Wow.
Yeah, and James Gunn heard it and said, that's my opening number. And so McCream,
Gosh, James
I
Gunn.
said, McCream, I'd love to see this with Apex characters. And McCream recreated the opening of Peacemaker with Apex characters.
That's, oh my gosh, that's crazy. You get a voice line just for that. What was your voice line request, McCream? Can you say, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me"? There you go.
There you go. You guys should be giving your money to McCream.
Just because, I mean that.
Just
I've
because.
Seen some of the work. It's amazing.
Okay, and thank you, Perplexity, for your question, by the way. So I'm going to spin that into a voice line for you. Hey, folks, I saw Newcastle strangle a guy with metal gauntlets. Oh, wait. No, he knocked him out with a trash can lid. He got that bread.
I love that.
Yeah. That he's just going to start saying that. Now, I'm going to say that. Just, you know what? I'm going to go game with randos tonight, and every time I'm going to open my mic, and every time something happens, get that bread, friend, and they're going to hate me. They're going to mute me.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to know who I am. This dude thinks he's Pathfinder. It doesn't even sound like him.
Yep. They're gonna definitely load you, buddy. Yeah. I'd love to see Yeet update with lines for
Yeah. And
Yeeting.
Niad, thank you for your donation too, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, these people, you got some great friends.
I
here.
have-
That's nice.
I have some folks who hung around even after I stopped my stream. The last time I streamed was December 31st, 2020. Back to Gabe. Okay, so you're busy. Obviously, you know you stream a couple of days a week, but you're also pretty busy as a voice actor. You're doing a lot of. Your voice is in some pretty high profile trailers for some very
Yes.
high what Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, this latest movie, The Bad Guys, The Batman. Oh man, it's a lot of stuff right now. I'm working on Where the Crawdads Sing, the Bob's Burgers movie.
That's awesome. I read the
a lot
book
of
where
stuff.
the Crawdads Sing. Now you're doing the trailer for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely incredible. I've never would experience like voicing movie trailers have always been my dream. And then I was always told, oh man, there's only like 3 guys who do them, Don LaFontaine and a couple other guys, who, Don is the GOAT.
Don is no longer with us.
He's no longer with us, but those are kind of my heroes. And I was like, yeah, man, one day I'm going to do it. One day I'm going to do it. And then 2017, when I signed with my agent, I was like, I really want to get into trailers. I want to figure out a way. And they were like, okay, you got to, get your feet wet a little bit. And then I was like, nah, I'm going to do it anyway. And so I went and reached out to a manager who works like in trailers. And for whatever reason, movie trailer companies go to managers to get that kind of those auditions and those voices. And so he gave me a shot and was like, you sound green, but you got something there that could work. And so I booked my first movie campaign, which is Ocean 8 in 2018. And then after that, it just started kind of like tumbling. And then we got to really when it started kicking off was Black Widow, when I booked that thing.
Really?
And then Tenet, and then it just started.
Tenet.
Tenet is what I call the gift that keeps on giving, because it was supposed to come out, I think, in like March or something like that of 2020 or something, and it just kept getting pushed on. So I did like 3 or 4 campaigns within the year.
Yeah, and Nolan does not let his movies go straight to streaming. You know, he
Oh
said, no,
no.
this is going to be in the theater. And
No, he it's funny, he was the one like supervising all the spots I would read. So like I remember I would be in sessions, it was on the Saturday. I'd be on a, my wife and I would go on a date, and then I get a call like, hey, I'm sorry, it's Saturday. Nolan is looking to cut spots like tonight and have them shipped.
yep,
They're waiting to hear your reads. And I'm like, Christopher Nolan is literally, okay, babe, we gotta go. And so we
right.
hop in the car, record, and then come back out or whatever. So anyway, all I have to say, yeah, definitely trailers and then TV promo, commercials and stuff. That's what I do. And the animation and video game stuff is definitely the fun
Right.
stuff for me.
Yeah, of course. And
well.
I remember like working for those directors that are extremely hands-on, like the Kubrickian directors, as I like to call them. They're like Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick, when he would direct a movie, it wasn't just he had you do dozens of takes, because he did, but he would go and look at the posters in the different theaters around the country to make sure that the posters were where he wanted them to be, that it
Wow.
was, yeah, he did everything. And I did, there were two things that I thought of. I've never done a trailer for a movie, but I've done a lot of ADR. I've done a lot of voice matching. And as
yeah.
you know, when they're cutting a movie, a lot of times they're also working on a trailer, and they'll think, you know what, we're going to change a line for the trailer, and the star is not coming back for that. So you voice match them, or for something in the movie sometimes.
Yeah.
Two examples. Jude Law for a movie he did called Repo Men, which they were working on for, over a year. And I was the Jude Law voice match. And I got 6 different sessions from that over like a year because they couldn't decide on what they were going to do with the movie. They kept on changing this or that. And I thought, I'm glad they can't make up their mind.
Right.
And then for another one, I voice matched Colin Farrell for Miami Vice for the movie. So, and this is Michael Mann, who is maybe one of my 2 or 3 favorite directors of all time. And
Wow.
Michael Mann is extremely meticulous in how he makes films. A lot of research. And then he was changing lines in the movie. He was changing certain words of lines just to see how they sounded. He didn't even know if he was going to use it. 6 jobs over the course of several months, right up almost until they released it.
Dang.
And he never directed any of them. But on the last session, I walked in a little early for my session. He was walking out, and he saw me and says, oh, you've been doing a good job for me. And he shook my hand and left. And I thought, I just had Michael Mann tell me I did a good job.
That's crazy.
I was like a little kid. And I was just glad that he was so meticulous because I kept working on it.
Sure. Yeah.
And
no,
that's what you
crazy.
want.
No, absolutely. I mean, and also, it's not just the domestic campaign, it's also the international as well. So, you're working on both. And so they're staggered. And so it was I was talking to my folks and they were like, yeah, that's an anomaly. Obviously we're in a pandemic and it's never going to happen again. But boy, was that the right time for that to happen?
Well, yeah. Plus, there's going to be the idea that, one job may have, given you all these sessions. But the real point is that you're working, and at a certain point, your name, if it isn't already, is going to be on that short list.
Right.
Where I would think you wouldn't have to audition for something. They know what you do, and they just say, let's give this one to Gabe.
Yeah, that happened. That happens quite a bit. Happens a lot with Disney. I knocking on wood and stuff, but we really have a solid solid relationship where, and I think I like it that way instead of the contractual stuff where it's like, because people sometimes ask me, are you like a contracted with Disney to do like their stuff like Disney Plus and all that? And I'm like, no, and I like it that way because I want them to have the option. Hey, we're getting tired of Gabe. Let me go find someone else. Oh man, I'm kind of missing Gabe. Let me come back to it. And I don't feel this like, oh my gosh, this 6-figure whatever how many figure contract is on me. Let's keep it fluid. And then if you want to do whatever you want to do, you do it. And it keeps me great in terms of auditions that do come in. I keep kind of hunting after those and stuff. But yeah, there are definitely situations where they're just kind of like get Gabe Kunda, which is a great. I'm starting to get the whole like get someone that sounds like Gabe Kunda, which is like
Ah,
that's another level. That's like okay, that's a
wait,
compliment, but also
wait
no.
a minute. Now, the
Yeah,
only reason there are only two reasons. Well, okay, three. There are three reasons why you get to get someone like Gabe Kunda. Because, all right, for those who don't know, there are certain career stages. Who is Chris Edgerly? Get me
right,
Chris Edgerly. Get me a young Chris Edgerly. Who is Chris Edgerly? And
right.
instead of get me a young Chris Edgerly, a lot of times it's get me an affordable Chris Edgerly, or an affordable Gabe Kunda,
Right.
right? And as far as affordable goes, I do most of my jobs at scale. Not all of them, most of them,
Yeah,
because they don't care if you're a name or not. You were the one they wanted for the job. So,
exactly.
now,
Same.
certain people have enough of a name where they work for a quote and that's it. And they're enough of a name where some people will say, well, I refuse to hire you for that. And they say, that's fine. I'll only work 3 jobs that day. So that's their world.
Yeah,
If somebody says, get me what? What did you say? An affordable Gabe Kunda or
someone who sounds like yeah. I
oh,
guess
someone, okay, no, I'm sorry. Someone who sounds like Gabe Kunda. All right. Either you were unavailable and they really had to have you, or Gabe Kunda's too omnipresent, which I don't think has happened. Or 3, you have priced yourself out because your manager has said, here are stipulations, which I don't
right.
think has happened either.
No, no. And I try for me, I think I tell my managers all the time, is like I'm grateful for the career that I have and I live very comfortably and it's more than enough. And so if at this point, if y'all are pitching me higher, it's because y'all want a higher cut and I get it, but I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm having a great time doing it. No need to, shake the boat.
I would think they would ask you before they do that.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's the other thing people may or may not know about voice acting is for the most part, it is a volume business. You make the money you make because of the amount of jobs you work. Perplexity is asking, is it still a very remote friendly job, even with the pandemic starting to die down? 2 things. It is a very remote friendly job, and 2, the pandemic is not dying down.
There lies the mistake.
We're up to 107,000 cases a day. A month ago, it was 23,000.
And that's just what they're showing.
Yeah, that's just the people who are reporting it. It's not the guy who swabs his nose at home and says, oh, I'm COVID positive. All right, I'm not going to go to the store, I guess. Like, he doesn't call in to the AP and say, could you report my case?
Yeah.
Be careful, friends.
It is a very remote, at least for me, a remote friendly job. I think the only ones that can get a little bit like, okay, you need to be in studio and a professionally treated studio is when I'm doing like a video game or animation. That will be definitely like, okay, I need to be in a spot. But for everything else, I've literally done countless of sessions in my car. And then
Oh, in your car?
Yeah. I've literally pulled up in a McDonald's. This is prior to me getting hotspot on my phone, and I would connect to the Wi-Fi that was on the McDonald's while I parked outside of it, and I would record Fox sessions in my car. And it was just
With what recording device?
I would use my MacBook Pro, my Logic, my DAW would be Logic, and then my Sennheiser 416, which with that being kind of a super directional microphone, it's like a stick. I think you know what it looks like, but for those of you who don't know, it's like one of those boom mics that you see in movies, like they kind of like hang it over when they're having dialogue.
Right.
It's like a skinny mic. And I would use that because it doesn't catch anything around it, just in front of it. And so the cars are pretty nice, it'll do the work in terms of a treated space. If you got to make it happen. So I would do that, record in there.
In the McDonald's parking lot.
McDonald's parking lot.
And you have a Sennheiser in your car, like in a case?
In my car. Like I literally have it, like I have what I call my mobile booth.
Okay.
My car booth. I have my MacBook, my preamp, my Apollo Aero, and then my Sennheiser 416 specifically for my vehicle, my car. It mirrors everything that's on my home studio so that there's no discrepancy in terms of sound quality. But in terms of like acoustic quality, you can kind of hear a difference. But at a certain point, when you're hearing boom this Friday, boom, you don't hear the differences.
Plus, you don't want to be too close to the drive-through because it's going to be. Could you repeat that order, sir? I want 4 McRib donut sandwiches. Yeah, $15.99. Please fill her out, sir. This Friday.
Right.
This Friday, what? The McRib donut sandwich is coming, Gabe? It's like, dude, you wanted it now. I can go to the Arby's parking lot. There's nobody there.
Arby's.
Arby's, we have the meats. Is that Ving Rhames doing that?
That's him.
That's
him.
what I thought.
Iconic. Yeah.
That's a guy. Here's an interesting take. I'd love to get your take on it. It's probably the same as mine. They hire celebrities to do a lot of voiceover. Sometimes I understand why. Sometimes you realize they just wanted to be near that celebrity. They just wanted to be in the room with them. There's a word for it. All right. Star effers. That's another, there's a word for that. But with Ving Rhames, I thought, nah, he was just the best guy for the... Yeah, 100%. You could find a lot of guys with a big booming voice and all that, but there's something about his voice where you... Okay, I'll go get the meat, sir.
Exactly.
I will come for the meat. Thank you.
Yeah, and the committed, like there's that character in there too of it sounds like it's something he made, or like right. Until those commercials, like Arby's was not on my radar at all, and then you hear that paired with it, you're like, okay, this is a thing.
Yeah, and that's sometimes, and I understand too that there's something, I'm sure that they could show you data that backs this up.
Sure.
Some celebrity voices are distinct and you can't place it, but you've heard it somewhere before. And I think psychologically something happens and you think, I think I should trust what they're saying because I've heard that voice for 15 years. Like, is that George Clooney? I'm not sure, but now I want to go buy whatever product that is. I'm reasonably certain, I think this can be Googled, that Chris Pine has been doing, I think BMW spots. It's either BMW or Mercedes. I think it's BMW.
Okay.
And Chris has a fairly distinctive voice, but it's not necessarily one you think is a voiceover voice. He's an actor.
Right.
And yet, maybe they wanted to be in the room with them, but he's got a distinctive sound. And so I could understand beyond just being in the room with them. It's like, no, there's a certain texture to what he's saying. I only know one colleague that has done a consistently long campaign for a car company that was not a celebrity, and that's Maurice LaMarche. He did, I think it was Lexus, for like 7 years. Because otherwise, just about every other car company is an A-list movie star usually.
Yeah. No, it's true. I'm noticing that, especially as I'm doing in the work of trailers, they test everything, even even my voice, how people respond to the
focus group.
Focus group. And I didn't know this until I talked to some of the producers who were creating it, and they're like, it's I guess it's okay because you're getting data, whatever that means, but like it does also hinder our creativity and what we want to do because they have the numbers say, so it's very interesting, but they've got data for it, and what resonates with a specific set of people.
For those of you who always follow focus groups, there's a limit to what they can show, because when I was first out here and I wasn't working much and I needed whatever money I could get, my roommate, who was also an actor, hooked me up with somebody who basically finds people to participate in focus groups. It's like, look, we'll pay you $30 to come be a part of this focus group. And okay, so how old are you? I'm 29. You white male? Yes. Well, you're going to be Hispanic male for this. Okay. Do you like jazz? Yeah, I kind of like jazz. Okay, for this, you like heavy metal. It's like, they just need to plug you into a slot because they're staffing focus groups. And then when you're there, a lot of times people say something just because they can have something to say and they feel like bitching about something. You don't get the most honest feedback.
No. They thought, I think my wife was walking to I think she's coming out of the store, and literally someone like ran after her and said, ma'am, would you mind watching this trailer for this movie that's coming out? I'll pay you $5. My wife was like, wait, what is this? She's like, yeah, we're focus group and this and that. We're trying to get, we're trying to test and see how the trailer's faring. And she's like, fine. And so she watches it. She's like, it's great. Thank you for the $5 and left. It's like,
They love it. This guy runs back to the CEO. Love it. What if she gave you $5 just to go away? Not possible. People love me. How do you know people love you? A focus group said that they loved me.
This group that I handpicked.
And look, like Rotten Tomatoes. Everybody checks Rotten Tomatoes. I check Rotten Tomatoes. If I'm going to rent something, I don't know. Like, I have a pretty good BS detector. I have a pretty good crap detector. If I look at something, I can usually tell whether or not I'm going to like it. I love it when I'm surprised, but I'm almost never wrong if I know I'm going to hate something. But I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes because I want to know if there's a general idea. What people forget about Rotten Tomatoes is, what if a movie has like 94% on Rotten Tomatoes? It could be that 9 out of 10 critics saw it and thought, yeah, it's decent. It's decent. Like, you didn't dislike it? No. I'd say, yeah, you should check it out. But if you just read that number, you think this must be one of the greatest movies of the year. Right. No, it's just a movie that a lot of people kind of liked. What if it's a movie that polarizes people, but could be a life-altering experience for you? And it's 43% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's because they all have a strong opinion about it, and they're divided.
Right. So go check it out for yourself.
Yeah, go find out for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they focus grouped all of our characters in Apex and decided, yeah, we're going to make Pathfinder a really happy-sounding guy instead of the, jerky robot that he was before. Why? The focus groups. Now I have a job.
Maybe they do play a part.
Because of focus groups. Yeah. Let's see. Somebody was asking, Gabe, Colorfinger is asking, are you still auditioning and looking for more on camera, or are you all or mostly voiceover these days?
I am all and mostly voiceovers. The only I've thought about the idea of on camera, but my folks aren't too happy about that just because of how much time it would take on set versus me being in the booth recording. And the return on that is not, unless I just become like Sterling K. Brown or something like that, where,
right.
It becomes, then obviously, right. But no, it would just it doesn't make sense from a creatively would be fulfilling.
Right.
But yeah. Voiceover is fulfilling and also takes care of, my lights and stuff like that. So
is that the guy right now? Sterling K. Brown is like, that's the career you'd like to have if you were to do it on camera and say, yeah. I'd like to be in a show that sweeps people up. Like, I've never seen This Is Us, but that tells you the show. I know that Sterling K. Brown is in it. And I know that Sterling K. Brown seems to be one of these sort of generational guys who you look at him and you hear him talk and you think, I want to see him do whatever.
Yes. Yeah. See, he's definitely someone I aspire to be like, if I were to get onto on camera, him and Mahershala Ali,
another guy,
Jordan, those guys are definitely people that I especially Mahershala. I just, the way he just has a way of, he's always in control. It feels like, and he's got this calm presence. And that's something that I love about his performances. But anyway, those are people that I would look up to in terms of on camera if I ever get into it. But it's a thought.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that having done a little bit of on camera in the early part of my career, I ran into a producer that I knew from Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon's where I got my feet wet. Like in Orlando, that was what was there. And then they were shooting a show called Sequest back in the mid-'90s there. And that's how a lot of us got our SAG eligible. So I did like a 2-line part in that and doing stuff for Nickelodeon. And I got to know one of the producers of a show who ended up for like 20 years just doing one Nickelodeon hit show after the other. Mm-hmm. And after I had gotten on The Simpsons and had been doing that for years and had not even thought about on camera, I bumped into him at a table read. He was just there for it. And he says, hey, how you doing? How you been? I said, I'm great. And he says, do you ever think about doing on camera again? And I realized that I have a producer asking me this, and that means the answer I give him is probably going to determine whether or not he calls me in to read for something. And the answer I gave was, if it fell in my lap, I guess, it's not. And I could see him looking at me thinking, so no, is what you're thinking. So what he told me was, hey, yeah, I'll have to call you in sometime. I said, great. And I emailed him just to follow up, never heard from him. And I realized why. It's like, dude, unless I'm thinking of you specifically.
Right.
then you have to show me that you want to be there.
Right.
And I realized my answer was, nah. Do I want to be on this guy? Do I want to be around this guy for 12 hours a day?
Yeah.
If he's meh.
Exactly. No, that makes sense. I guess you just kind of, man, if I would do the same thing though. I'd be like, I mean, if it comes through, it comes through.
and that's the thing is that I could think he would look at me and think, well, he used to have a lot more hair when I was casting him, so that can't put him in those roles anymore. Let's see, what else? Okay, yeah, I got nothing I'm thinking of him specifically for. So, yeah, I could just go back to the regular casting pool and get the same thing, only people who really want to be there. Whereas if somebody runs into Gabe Kunda and they think, I actually have something that is perfect, I'm going to convince him to do it, that could happen.
It definitely could. Definitely could.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be talked into it.
Oh, yeah.
This is us, too.
Oh, man. Play maybe his son or something. Yeah, I'll take it.
Right, but in the meantime, you seem to be busy enough with this where you found a couple of days a week to do the streaming. So is there something you're noticing in the streaming? Had you done it much before? Like, what is your experience of streaming so far? Are you on for a couple of hours and then you're off, or you just go until you can't go?
No. I'm on for a couple hours and then I'm off. Sometimes even an hour. I know it's in Streamland. It's not, an hour is like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's clear in your throat in Streamland.
Yeah.
I'm doing a 12-hour stream, 24 straight.
Yeah, dude. No, oh my gosh. No,
Yeah.
No. And no, so I'll do a couple hours max and then hop off and then do another one the next day. Or I'll stream like once a week. It just kind of depends. But I enjoy it. And I think my audience, the people who follow me and subscribe and such, is it called subscribe? Yeah, subscribe. They understand it. They get it. So there was one day where I did a 3-hour and I mean, the chat was like, Gabe, do you have to go?
Don't you have a job? Shouldn't you be in a McDonald's parking lot right now?
And I was like, no, I actually have another hour to go. And they're like, yeah. But, they definitely understand how time consuming it can be.
I have learned this from talking to other streamers, and I've experienced it firsthand. Your fans that appreciate what you do, they'll be there for you regardless. But the as I call them, window shoppers, the people that are passing by, they need a reason to stop and watch, and they'll leave after about 10 seconds if it doesn't work for them. They're the kind of people who have 12 windows open at once. They're watching all these different streams, and if you're not interesting, they're going to click on another one. And the only way to get those people is to relentlessly stream, so they become invested. And I realized I can't do that. Yeah.
Nah, and thankfully, those are one of those moments where it's like, I'm glad I'm glad I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like I can.
Right.
The only people that I need to make happy are the people that I'm auditioning for and or directors and stuff like that. And that's a very small pool of people versus masses of people online trying to keep their attention. And we as human beings, we can be fickle sometimes. We like one thing the next day, then we wake up on the wrong side of the bed, we don't really like it, and then we're off, and then that my career kind of tanks based on viewership. But I don't really look at the numbers anymore. I just do it because I enjoy interacting with other people who love what I do.
Well, and this is also interesting because you're really at the beginning of your career, because you've only been out of college for 5 years.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And so this is the first phase of your career, and you're already in these high profile things, which is awesome. The career that I had, the first few years I was getting my feet wet. I was working. I was slowly putting things together. But all we had was regular TV and cable. The internet really didn't become a thing until the late 90s, where I started learning that there was this thing called email, and a lot of club owners wouldn't book you unless you sent them an email. And I thought, well, I have to go get an email, I guess. And so as far as entertainment options, people would either go see a movie, they'd rent a movie, or they would wait for a show to come on. You had to wait for something to come on.
Right.
And now you still have to wait for certain things. Like we're all waiting for the next season of Stranger Things. We all are.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes out, we're all going to binge it. But nobody binged anything unless you had all the episodes already because
Right.
they had, over a period of months or years, released them all.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's all of that and streaming and the idea that any other thing you can think of. I had to explain this to my kids. You know, kids, when we were kids, when your mom and I were kids, when we wanted to watch a show, we had to wait for it to come on. They actually can't understand what that means because anything they want to watch, they instantly have it. Now, you're an actor coming up in that atmosphere and you realize that I have to, I'm not working right now. What can I do? Well, usually you would have to assemble a crew of people, rent the equipment, and go shoot something and try and get a festival to take it. Now you can just get on and stream for people to see your face.
Exactly. Yeah. It's wow. Talk about on demand.
Yes. Like, how does that, I'm sure you must have some other friends who are actors or in the business trying to get in. How do they handle the downtime? What do they do? Are they all kind of doing the same things you are, trying to get a stream going, trying to make content on different platforms, things like that?
But yeah, definitely the content route and the TikTok route. Just some of them are, getting into definitely do more like lessons or like if voiceover lessons and or like classes and trying to get better during those lulls and stuff. But a lot of them kind of go into, I know during the pandemic, we're still in the pandemic, but like 2020. 2021, a lot of them like returned to what they were doing before voiceover because that was what was taking care, or voiceover and on screen because that was what was taking care of the bills and stuff. And so some of them had stayed there and actually have not returned back to on camera VO, and others have, but it feels like almost, especially when you're at the beginning of your career, it feels like you're starting over yet again.
Yeah. Well, I also know that things go in chapters. It may not seem that way, but when it's happening to you, you may not realize it. And you look back with the benefit of hindsight and you realize, oh yeah, that went away. It took me a while to realize it was gone.
Right.
And there are certain things, like with stand-up, I chose to end my association with stand-up because I didn't want to travel anymore. And I knew, all right, new chapter. But there are times when, if you're not working as much as you're used to, you think, am I being pushed into a new chapter? Am I having to find something else? It happens to actors. It happens to established actors where you suddenly realize, Matthew McConaughey talks about this in his book. He says, I was in the early aughts, or in the mid-aughts, I was the guy who was Mr. Romantic Comedy. I was Mr. Reliable. I did all these romantic comedies. And finally I thought, I don't want to keep doing these because it's all I'll ever be seen as. So I said, I'm going to turn down every romantic comedy. And that's literally all he got offered for 2 or 3 years. And he says, I did not work at all. I had one romantic comedy offer where they started by offering me $3 million, and I said no. And over a period of months, it got up to $14 million.
Wow.
They were offering him $14 million. He said, I called my business manager and I said, how much money do I have left? And he says, you could live like the way you're living for another year or two. And he says, man, that 14 million would change a lot of things. But he said no.
Wow.
And so you didn't see Matthew McConaughey in anything for a couple of years. And then he did the Dallas Buyers Club. He did a couple of small films. He did the Lincoln Lawyer. Now you don't see Mr. McConaughey as Mr. Romantic Comedy. He could be anything.
Yep.
But he had to go from being A-list romantic lead to who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
You would think that that can't happen.
Oh, but it can.
It can. Well, that actually interests me. What you said about getting started in your trailer, your trailer work, your promos.
Yeah.
They said there's something there. It's I guess it's kind of raw. What did you learn, polish-wise, performance-wise, to suddenly make it start to click? In that, like, you have the voice.
Sure.
How were they instructing you to read the copy? How did you learn how to read it to suddenly make yourself the guy?
Yeah, it was at the beginning phases. Because I was consuming a lot of trailers. Like I was so obsessed with it.
Uh-huh.
And that tends to be how I work. If I discover something new and I'm intrigued, and it's like I just start obsessing myself over it, and I want to know everything. I'll spend hours just. And so I was doing that with trailers. I would sit there and and because I am a musical person, I understand where the pitch of the voice is and all that stuff. Some of the things that we use to voice match and stuff.
Right.
That's what I would do over and over again to get the rhythm in my mind. And then suddenly I realized I'm trying to be like these guys. Like I'm trying to copy what they're doing, and they're already there working quite consistently, being hired over and over again for their stuff. I need to figure out a way that's going to separate me. And what it was literally just being myself. It actually wasn't something I was trying to like, well, if I do this and I add this with this and then that it was literally just me coming to the microphone. I remember it was a movie. What movie was I that it did? Oh, there was a movie called Widows. It was with Viola Davis and a bunch of other.
I remember that. I always thought that movie probably should have been bigger than it was because it seemed like an event.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. So that was 20th Century Fox. One of the first movies that I had worked on. And I remember the marketing team the studio was saying, we just want something different. Like everybody who's read it thus far has been super big and so I was like, okay, I'm just going to read the title. I'm not going to add any type of bigness to it and try to make it super ground half. No, I'm going to just read the title. So then I did options, ABC takes. I said, Widows, rated PG-13. Nothing crazy, nothing big.
Yeah.
And I sent it, and they were like, who is this kid? Put him on immediately. And I was like, what? I literally just said the word and sent it off. And they were like, that's what we want. I think it's kind of like, Chris, you can attest to this, like the whole, like the announcer conversational kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, how they want you to be a lot more conversational now. And so in trailers now, they're moving more to the more like, they just want you to use your normal voice, but have some gravitas to it.
Right.
And so I did that, and that's when it started clicking. I was like, okay, I can use this type of, it's me being me, it's reading. And that's when it clicked for me, I'm sure.
That's interesting because I'll talk to my wife about this. I'll say, if I go through a dry spell and it's like, I can't seem to get arrested for some of these things right now. And she said, do one that's just flat. Just do one where you're like, especially if it's commercial. Yeah. Because if it's a character in an animated show, then you really need to follow the breakdown and do your thing with it. But if it's a commercial, especially if they want matter of fact or non-announcery, a lot of times they want something that really is kind of flat because they just want the quality of your voice. There's something about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's true. You just don't know sometimes. So you may as well do what works for you instead of chasing.
Well. Yeah.
Right. Here's one from Perplexity, has an unorthodox question. In entertainment today, there are varying levels of anonymity possible attached to potentially international fame. So I'm wondering let's see, as people comfortable with your identities being out there, but your appearance not being the explicit focus of your lane in the industry as voice actors, if you were younger nowadays, but you knew everything you know now, would you have chosen the same path as voice actors or might have opted into less anonymity and gone for more on-camera, opt for more anonymity and remain an entirely faceless entity online like VTubers, faceless artists, no-cam streamers? I would have... I don't... The only regret I have in my career, the only thing I would do differently is when it came to stand-up, I would do exactly what Gabe talked about, be more myself and stop trying to give what I thought either the industry wanted or what the audience wanted. Mm-hmm. You're there to serve the audience because they did pay. They found babysitters. They're taking time out, but you need to do it on your terms as well. So be yourself, make it accessible, and wait for the audience to find you. Don't expect everyone to like it. And Gabe will tell you, when you read audition copy, the vast majority of what you read, you're not going to book. Not even the vast majority, like 99% of what you read, you're not going to book. But you're gonna get the things you're gonna get because you're right for it and you were better than anyone else. Yeah. So that's the only thing I would have done is I would have stuck to my guns more, which Gabe has already figured out.
I agree. Yeah, figuring it out. I would agree. Yeah, I definitely would have did that early on. But you know what? Well, I'm glad it turned out this way because here we are now. You know, I think that it was probably needed in order for me to get to where I am now. Um, but yeah, I think the voiceover again when I watched this $1 million voices video that's on still on YouTube as a sophomore in high school. This is 2012, 2020, yeah, 2012, 2011. It changed my life, and I immediately that's when I started going into the videos, and I would watch James Arnold Taylor. He has like a YouTube channel, and he has, I mean, he would put. I wish I could meet him and shake his hand and give him a big hug because he was so instrumental. It was like voiceover school on YouTube with him because he would show the inside of his sessions when he would do the Fox sessions, the promo sessions, and the video game sessions. And yeah, I really wish I could let him know how much, you know, his work has helped me. But doing that, that's what like was like I want to do voiceover. I really don't. I mean, on camera at the time, I was an ugly duck. Anyway, so I wasn't trying to be on camera, show my face on camera. You know.
I don't know. I have a hard time buying that. You don't seem like the ugly duck type, but
thank you, Chris.
I was a goofy son of a bitch in my 20s. As opposed to the Adonis, I clearly am right now. People grow into themselves. They grow into their look. They grow into who they are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But James Arnold Taylor, he's been a friend of mine for a while. Well, he lives in Nashville now. So you're actually closer to him. He moved to Nashville. He lived near where I moved. And I called him up and I said, hey, I think I'm about to move out of this area. And he goes, yeah, I just moved to Nashville yesterday. It's like, what? This is during the pandemic. But I had interviewed him for my channel, so I don't know if you saw, but I've interviewed James for my channel, so you can.
I think I did see it. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that was before he moved. But yes, he's done a lot for the VO community, just as far as letting you in the door to see what he does, because he does it really well, and he does a lot of animation and video games and things. But promos, he's been Fox. He's been doing Fox stuff for a long time.
Long time, yep.
Yeah,
animation domination.
Yeah, so yeah, you should reach out to him, or I can try and put you in touch with him, and you can actually say, hey.
That'd be great, yeah.
No, he would appreciate it for sure. He's a good guy. Colorfinger made an interesting point. Being authentically yourself is really risky to your ego, though. You have to develop quite a thick skin to deal with the inevitable rejection. That's true. You learn that in stand-up. No matter what you're doing up there, it's you. And if they don't like you, it's not like an audition that didn't go well. You just don't hear anything. In the audience, you hear the silence, or worse, you hear the boos, and it is incredibly personal. You just have to learn to deal with that. You have to learn to risk it.
Yep.
Yeah, but it you know, I mean, it takes, yes, a little bit of fortitude to say, okay, I'm just going to be me, and people can accept or reject it, but you're going to have to end up there anyway eventually. If you do something else and everyone loves it, I don't know how happy you're going to be for however long.
Right.
So
right on.
Yeah. So let me see. If anyone has any other questions, we'll field them. But Gabe, I don't want to keep you. If you have,
I didn't even notice what time it was. Let's see.
It's 12:43. This is how my chats go. Time just sort of flies because I don't structure it like an interview. It's whatever you feel like talking about. Let's wish Mothman V a happy birthday from Pathfinder, a gift from me. Okay. Happy birthday, Mothman V from Pathfinder.
So
or
cool.
Is it Mothman 5? Are you Roman? No? Mothman V. Okay. Mothman V. Happy birthday. Careful, friend. I may kill you. McCream, Chris, you should do a mini scenario of Path and Newcastle talking to each other. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Path and New. I used to do this for mine. Yeah, I don't know. Has Pathfinder interacted with Newcastle much yet? Do you remember doing any lines for that? I don't remember myself.
I don't remember doing any lines with Pathfinder. No, not really.
Let me think. Yeah, what is Newcastle's... Like, Newcastle's backstory is pretty interesting because it's not the person everyone thinks it is. It's a guy who kind of... Well, actually, tell people the quick story.
Yeah, Newcastle was a guy who was supposed to get in the games, but couldn't get in the games, and he owed some folks some money. and couldn't come up to it. So then here comes Jackson, which in this kind of scenario, his name is Lamont Craig because he's hiding out in, Harris, Newtown. And so he sees the guy and he's trying to, he actually, Lamont actually worked on Newcastle, the OG Newcastle shields, and helped, create it, and
So
all the
he's
stuff.
familiar with the tech.
Exactly, familiar with the tech. And so sees him, goes over, hey, you need some help. And dude gets shot, killed. OG Newcastle's out of there. And now it's all upon the new Newcastle.
Wow.
So confusing. It's all upon him to kind of save to get into the games and get some money and save the city. Yeah, that's kind of his motive, is to make sure that he protects Harris Valley and do what the old Newcastle couldn't do.
And what is his relationship to Bangalore?
Yeah, so he is Jackson is Bangalore's brother.
Okay.
And he's been hiding. I know it's in terms of what he's been doing, I think will be revealed as we kind of go on through the season, but he's been doing his thing to the point where he has a whole other family that Bangalore has no clue about. And we're going to figure that out, see how that kind of, what can of worms that opens up here soon.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about the game, is that the stories are ongoing. They're always developing them, deepening them, taking twists and turns and things like that. So, yeah. So with all of that backstory, Pathfinder, when anyone comes into the game, he's always very welcoming and he's always trying to figure them out. And he makes assumptions that sometimes have absolutely no basis in reality whatsoever. Pathfinder thinks he has a son because Hans Blisk said something weird to him and he just mistook that. But I have a son. It's like, that's not really what I meant. I'm going to find my son. And the writers won't tell me if he actually does have a son or not. But with Newcastle, Pathfinder might think he's the old. What's the old guy's name again? The one who got killed?
The old Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is actual Newcastle.
Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah. And so
Newcastle.
Jackson Lamont Craig.
Okay.
Is taking Newcastle as like an alias name.
I heard that Newcastle had died.
Nope,
No.
Not dead.
You don't look dead. Especially not the way you swing that trash can lid, friend.
Hey, it's not a trash can. It's a shield. Get behind me. I'll keep you safe.
I thought Lifeline did that.
What's the lifeline?
I thought I heard that Lifeline had a trash can lid and I have a son.
I don't know who Lifeline is, and I don't know about your son. What's your name again?
Pathfinder, friend.
Pathfinder. Huh. Well, if you got a son, let's call him Sunfinder.
Already done it 3 streams ago. You don't know that. My son would come in and I go, here's Sunfinder. And then my wife would come in and everybody go, there's Wife Finder.
I love it. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Hey, McCream, have fun with that one. And we'll get a call from Respawn. All right, guys, everyone thinks that's canon now, and you can't do that. McCream, happy birthday for next week. McCream's birthday is coming up.
Happy birthday, McCream.
Newer. That's funny. Rachel Brett said Newer Castle. That's your character's name now. Newer Castle.
Newer Castle.
Newer Castle. Okay. Hey,
Better
if anybody
Castle.
has a last question for Gabe. All right. Neon has a question for Gabe. How are you?
Oh my gosh. Simple questions like that make you rethink life.
Yeah, really.
No, I'm doing well. I'm blessed. My family's in good health. Yeah, I'm in a good place. I'm really in a good place. I'm happy. And thank you for that question. I appreciate that.
Didn't you say you guys were working on a house? Like maybe.
Yeah, we're in the process of custom building our home, and so yeah, it's going to be another level of complexity, but I'm excited about it for sure.
Custom building a home.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be nice.
That's going to be, well, in Texas it is. LA, not so much.
Yeah. So you've got to make sure that you have your own studio and she has her own studio, right?
That's right.
That you're opposite ends of the house?
Yeah, man. I think hopefully, I think I may have my studio kind of connected to the home, but outside. Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Okay. Well, folks, I think we should let him go because we can, and me. I've finished my coffee. I've finished my donuts.
Still got my water to go up. Yeah.
Yeah. We could, believe me, there's stuff we could talk about all day long. But chat, as always, you are wonderful, lovely, the kind of support and anyone would dream of. Thank you for everyone who has donated. And Gabe's Streamily store. It's just streamily.com/Gabe Kunda, I believe.
That's right.
He's got cool stuff in there. And if he has other exciting projects, he can talk about them on his Twitter. He can mention them here really quickly.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, I got some amazing NDA stuff coming out, and so we'll. but am I in an anime? I'm in a couple right now. Ranking of Kings. Check that out. It's out. I'm also in. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Ranking of Kings. It's out on Crunchyroll. Check it out.
Ranking of Kings. Wait a minute. What's the plot of that one? Do you remember?
It's a kid, I believe, who has Down syndrome. If I remember, either Down syndrome or I think death. I don't remember the exact thing, but it's kind of following his life and powerful little fella. It's really cute.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I might have read for that. I don't know. I'm in a couple of animes that are, out, but I think they've all been aired or whatever. So yeah. Look, go to Gabe Kunda Streamly store. Get yourself something. Get yourself uniquely Gabe Kunda stuff.
Yes.
Check out his Twitter. Check out his Twitch. Check out King's Return. Right? He's got a lot of stuff out there that you can all appreciate.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, please.